Welcome to Awakenings with Mike Adams. In each 10-minute episode, we share some important concepts with you on food, health, wealth, or other important topics. Today's topic is about one of the myths of the food supply. We're exposing the myth that the food supply is designed to keep you nourished. It is no such thing. It's actually designed to keep you addicted to foods. Now, if we were talking about any industry, let's say the automobile industry, or the banking industry, or the pharmaceutical industry, we would all agree that every industry wants to maximize its profits. That's what corporations exist to do, maximize their profits. Sell more stuff, regardless of whether you need the stuff or whether the stuff is good for you. There are many corporations that have a long history of selling poison, in fact, pesticide companies. The vaccine manufacturers that still put toxic mercury into their vaccines. There are poisons sold throughout the industry, things that harm people, but people buy them because they're not aware of what those products actually do. So when we talk about the food industry, we have to start from the fundamental truth that the food industry, like any other industry, exists to maximize its own profits, which means selling more food to more people. Notice especially that the food industry does not have any special social responsibility or legal responsibility to nourish its customers. This is not part of the corporate map or corporate goals of the food industry. Even they don't say so. If you go look at what's the corporate mission of companies like Coke or Pepsi or Dean Foods or even Kraft Foods, none of their corporate statements talk about how they feel divinely compelled to nourish humanity and create a better world full of life and vibrance and health and healthy babies and the prevention of disease and all of these things that food should be doing for us if our food supply wasn't designed for another purpose. The food supply is really designed to generate profits for food companies, not to generate health for food consumers. And how does the food industry generate more profits through special designing and engineering of their foods? It's simple. They do it the same way Big Tobacco did it. How did Big Tobacco do it? They made their products highly addictive. They understood that the addition of not just nicotine, but other chemicals into their cigarettes would invoke addictive brain chemistry so that people had to come back and keep smoking more cigarettes. And it was this addiction that continues to drive the big tobacco industry to this very day. And if you've ever smoked, you know that getting over that addiction is extremely difficult because it is hardwired into your brain's biochemistry. Now, most people aren't aware that food companies are doing almost exactly the same thing. How do they make foods addictive? Well, through chemicals, but also by removing nutrients from foods that your body needs. You see, your body has a natural system that tells you to go out and find crucial nutrients, such as minerals or plant-based vitamins, or what are called phytochemicals or phytonutrients. That natural system that exists in your body, well, it's called cravings. Have you ever craved chocolate? That's usually your body telling you you need to get more magnesium. If you've craved carbohydrates, you might need more potassium. Or if you crave junk foods, snack chips, sometimes you might be low in salt, but not processed salt, low in a full spectrum salt that has the full complement of trace minerals that your body needs, like zinc and selenium and manganese and even trace amounts of copper. Now, processed foods are intentionally processed to remove nearly all the nutrients that your body needs and that your body craves. For example, if you take sugar, a common ingredient, or corn syrup, similar case, but sugar cane is very healthy by itself. It's actually a very large grass, and it's full of green phytonutrients, and it's full of minerals. But if you take sugar cane and you process it, and you pull out all the minerals, and all the phytonutrients, and all the fibers, and all the other essential elements that are in that, you're left with white sugar. That's what gets fed to humans. That's what's sold in grocery stores. That's what's used in foods designed to be purchased and consumed by human beings. Meanwhile, the minerals, the other nutrients that were in the original cane grass or cane juice, those are sold as a byproduct to the animal feed industry, because ranchers need to keep their animals alive and healthy to turn a profit. They can't have sick cows and sheep dying all day long. They won't make any money. And there isn't a medical system that profits from sick cows. There is a medical system that profits from sick humans, and it is in fact the food-based sickness by design that keeps our modern medical system going and keeps it profitable. Now, what happens when you eat these nutritionally depleted foods such as sugar, white sugar, or corn syrup, or sodas, or refined corn products and snack chips and cereals, French fries, and all these other things? What happens to your body? Your body is missing the nutrients that it craves, that it needs to be healthy, to have a good, healthy, functioning immune system, healthy body organs, healthy neurology and brain function. So your body says, I'm craving more food to try to find all of those missing nutrients. And that is what gets you to go out and buy more of the same food that has already put you into the state of deficiency that caused your cravings in the first place. So it's a vicious cycle of eat more food, feel more cravings, eat more food, have more deficiency, eat more food, get obese. And so it is this cycle of obesity and nutritional deficiencies and food purchasing that drives the food industry, and it's all by design. They know, essentially, that the more they take out of the food, the more food you will be compelled to buy by your own hardwired brain chemistry that tells you if you're missing something, you're craving something, and you should go out and buy and eat more food. And this is why in America today, we have more and more people with more body weight, more overweight, more obesity than ever before in the history of the world, and yet nearly all of those people are nutritionally deficient in almost every nutrient that counts: zinc, magnesium, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, and so on. We eat more food than any population in the history of the world, and we get fewer nutrients in that food, and it's all by design. If the food industry were interested in making you healthy, they would nourish their foods with the nutrients that naturally existed in them instead of taking them out. And by doing so, they would reduce their profits because people wouldn't have the same cravings, they wouldn't eat as much, they wouldn't buy the same depleted foods over and over and over again. And so actually making your food nourishing would destroy the profits of the processed food industry. And they know that. And that's why they do this. Now, of course, these food companies will artificially fortify their foods in order to trick you into cognitively thinking you're getting nutrition. For example, a box of Wheaties contains tiny little microscopic shavings of pieces of metal known as iron oxides. They blend bits of metal into the wheat cereal as one of the last steps before they dry it and cook it, and then they say that their cereal is, quote, fortified with iron. If you don't understand how food really works, you think you're getting a good source of iron. Well, not really. It's not in the wheat. It's thrown in as metal shavings after the wheat is harvested. It's not in the plant. And anyone who thinks that throwing bits of metal into cereals is nutrition doesn't really know much about nutrition. These minerals need to be present in the plant, which means they need to be present in the soils. And most of our soils are also rather depleted because they've been farmed in a kind of mining operation where the nutrients are taken out but never put back in. And that's why the healthiest food you can eat is food that you grow in nutrient-rich soils that you replenish with all the minerals and all the microbiology season after season. Thanks for listening to this episode of Awakenings. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. Hear more at naturalnews.com/awakenings.